All these in order. We pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Need a roll call, please.
President Dom.
Here.
Vice President Everard.
Here.
Treasurer Gaten.
Here.
Secretary Fritz.
Here.
Trustee Thomas. Absent. Trustee Zimmerman.
Present.
And Trustee Wazor.
Here. Okay, thank you. We'll start with a conservation ethics, Sean.
Yes, conservation ethic, goal number 6, to foster a conservation ethic among McHenry County citizens, helping all of us, regardless of the basis of our interest in nature, to develop a greater awareness of our role in and responsibility for the total community life. The conservation ethic asks us to assume a moral duty to become educated about conservation issues and then act on that information. A conservation ethic is an attitude that recognizes the importance of preserving the natural heritage of the county's open space. Conservation stewardship pledge. We pledge to make a difference by standing up for our water, wildlife, and way of life in McHenry County. Our quality of life in McHenry County depends on healthy and sustainable natural resources, thoughtfully developed cities and towns, a strong economy, and beautiful outdoor places to explore, discover, and recreate. Number 7, we will create opportunities for meaningful outdoor recreational experiences for people of all ages, cultures, and abilities.
Great, thank you. All righty, we're gonna move on to adopt the agenda, but first we're gonna have a little presentation from Dave Kraft. Are you on?
Oh, I'm muted. I am.
Great. Could you just go over your memorandum on the Lionsbury Marsh recommendations?
Yeah, and so I appreciate everyone having me back here. And I also appreciate the ability to join online given the holiday season and everything rushing here. So I understand from talking to Elizabeth and Gabe and Ed and others that everyone's looked through the final report. And so this memorandum that that was provided is basically after looking through all of that data, the recommendations portion of that effort. And so we tried to keep it fairly simplistic, pointed at the things that I think we believe really matter with respect to the overall study. And again, happy to answer any more specific questions on that too. But as it relates to the recommendations, our conclusions are in reviewing all of the data and going through the assessment we did and working with staff and others, is that I think it's worth continuing to monitor the bank erosion in this area, next to Lions Prairie and Marsh. Part of that is going to be pretty easy to do. Obviously, there's management activity going on out there, so I think any substantial issues should be relatively visible during management work. Also, we're getting pretty much annual aerial photographs now from the county and other sources, so it's easy enough to just kind of take a look at and assess those things. Obviously a lot of capable staff that are regularly in that information. So continuing to look at that and see if any major changes, in particular over short periods of time, are observed. That kind of coordinates to one of the conclusions of the study was just that it's pretty difficult to ascertain exact rates of erosion just based upon some of the discussion points related to the aerial photographic evidence and those kinds of things, with different seasonal conditions in the river and the impact of the dam going back and all that. So continuing monitoring, very conclusively as part of looking at this, and I don't think this was a surprise to anybody, is what erosion is occurring out there in shoreline loss. And I think I'll point out in this case, some of it isn't necessarily specific erosion. It's loss of cattail mat and other things is definitely being impacted by the heavy wakes in this reach of the river. And so that's something I think that our suggestion is based on that conclusion and the supported information, the engineering analysis that supports that provided in the report, is that, to explore no wake options, both for safety, during the data gathering phase or the public input phase, beyond just the erosion issue, there were several concerns of safety and some incidents that have happened in this section of the river. So to explore.
Sorry, here, Dave.
It looks like I might have gotten muted in there. Where did I?
You did, yes, I was trying to grab somebody else who had their
Gotcha.
microphone. Sorry about that.
Did I get through the wake stuff, or do you want me to
Yes.
revisit that?
No,
No,
we understand the wake stuff. so
Okay.
thanks.
And then, there's obviously been some bigger picture looks at dam removal up and down the Fox River. Those are, the different dams are in various states of potential modification or removal. I think as it may relate to this issue, that's certainly something that I know staff have been very involved with, and we would certainly suggest to remain involved with, because that could certainly have implications for management of this property. And then I think, just the final conclusion we offered is, if for whatever reason accelerated erosion is observed, if we go through another high water period and we see major losses, in particular during individual storm events or during a specific season, that, some of the options that are explored, be consistent with the the site use. Meaning, not large scale stone treatment simply for the sake of protection, but factoring in some of the ecology of there. Also, things like, considering whether things like dredge spoils are, appropriate soils for restoration of those areas, and just, kind of factoring in the ecology of the site in some of those restoration efforts. That is, sort of reflected in some of our design recommendations, obviously skewing towards native vegetative treatments and, more natural things. There may even be some armoring there, and that it not be looked at as a recapture as much as a restoration. So those were our primary recommendations as part of the overall assessment and conclusions that were reached.
Good. Well, thank you very much. You guys did a great job on that.
I appreciate it.
Should, yep. Okay, we're gonna move on then into the adopted agenda. Do I have a,
motion to approve the agenda?
correct? You moved them.
Second.
Okay, we had a first and second.
Secretary Fritz,
Yeah.
trustee Zimmerman,
Yes.
vice president Everard,
Yes.
trustee Wazorek,
Yes.
treasurer Gayton,
Yes.
president Dom.
Yes. Okay. Trustee report. Anybody have any reports on different activities from trustees?
The green drinks met this week and our first Wednesday in December, and it was a group, it was like one representative from each of the various conservation groups in the area. So Elizabeth was there and one of the speakers. There were several, I think there were like 10 speakers, each one had like 5 minutes. And the goal was to highlight the successes of the year and to hear every group talk about all the things that's been accomplished. It was something. So it was a good year and a lot accomplished. Some of it's in the WikiWow that Elizabeth put together. You can see that for our district, but all the other groups had good years as well. So happy to report that.
Good, good. Sean, you want to report on the cost?
President Dom, myself, and Elizabeth went to the COG, and it was held at Boulder Ridge. Normally someone gives a speech, but this time I think it was just more social.
Christmas social.
Yeah, so no speaking, but just got to shake hands and talk to some of the local leaders, so still a good night.
Yeah, we had some actually, Elizabeth and I had some good contacts there and so it's good. Anybody else? Yeah. go ahead.
The first of the month, I went to, Illinois Farm Bureau annual meeting in Chicago and, sat in on I was a delegate, alternate delegate. So the big talk there was, the CO2 pipeline that they want to run from Iowa to like central Illinois. So,
Is that the ADM one?
nah, this is, oh, I forget what it
It's
was.
carbon capture, that one,
Yeah, and then they want to,
pump it in the ground.
right, so Farm Bureau, you can't really oppose it, because if you oppose it, then they don't ask you to come to the table about doing things with it. You know, if you right away you say, I'm against it, well then, I guess we're not even gonna invite them. So there was a lot of discussion on that. The other thing was, foreign, land ownership. There's a lot of discussion about that, you know, there's research, like over in DeKalb, there's, you know, foreign countries own 40, 60 acres and they do a lot of research. Well, they come to the conclusion that, they can always rent land, you know, they're really against foreign ownership. And then the other thing is ag, like an ag district. They want, right now, I think it's like you gotta have 100 acres for an ag district, and if it's an ag district, of course, it can never be developed. But they wanna lower the acres, like say 40 or 20. It's good discussion, so, that's all I got.
Okay, good, thank you, Matt. Couple other little projects we're working on, Val and Ed and I met with, adjacent landowner of one of our properties and, trying to work out, to see if we can help him achieve his goal, I guess. Also, yesterday, Elizabeth and, who's all there? Yourself and John, yeah. We met with, Peter Austin and Mike, yeah, Bueller, I'm sorry.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, it's just based out there. And met with them about, three different, things mainly, budgetary or tentative budget. We talked about, that. We talked about, getting some new people on the board when two other people are going off later this year. Yeah. And then, what else did we touch base on? Oh,
Is there conservation's, financing research?
yeah, the financing research on that. And, yeah, they seem to take it all in well. We're gonna be working with, Andy and Peter and stuff and trying to, see if there's some other angles we can look at to make things look a little bit better, I guess. Well, and Elizabeth, do you have anything? Well,
Been very busy. Thank you so much for your extra efforts to go out to all these community meetings and be active. Important.
John?
Yeah, a couple things. We're going over, I've been talking lately about the solar farms, how the counties were pretty much hamstringed on what they could do. They have to just approve them. Pritzker signed a bill that starts immediately upon his signature that they have to present a, erosion control, ground control, or rehab after they're done with it and guarantee, good use. So, that was a start to get some of the legislators to move off of just the gold key to just put them wherever you want them and however you want them. So, which is nice for the, the wetlands that are, not conducive for them. So that was good. We're also, having a memorandum or how do I say it? Just a recognition for, his name was Kirsten, and he was the head of the Veterans Affairs. Joe
Joe.
Kirsten, he passed away, so we're gonna have something for him at 6:30 before the meeting, just to recognize his service and his lifetime. And that's about it. We're not really passing any big legislation this month being December.
Right, the holiday and everything.
Yeah, nothing too much except for the health, the mental health board. They have a budget that's out of our budget of like 12 point something $million. they're gonna go for a referendum to ask for, a PTAL, of 0.25% sales tax, which would give them about, 13 to 14 million a year, and then we'll take them off of our budget, and they won't, their budget won't be collected off of real estate taxes, which should help the real estate taxes go down, so.
Good.
That's about all the,
And then we can bring on the spring.
On this,
we're gonna try for the spring, yeah, if it passes, and I think it will. There are some.
is that vote tonight?
Yeah, there are some trepidations from some of the board members that it's just too soon in education, but I think the optics are good that, hey, look, if you pass this, it's gonna be off of your real estate bills and onto the, sales taxes, which is more equitable for everybody that pay a share, so. Yeah.
Good, okay, thanks, John.
Mhm.
Public comments, number one, anybody out there? No, nobody out there.
You don't need one. Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Approval of minutes of previous meetings, go ahead.
Sure. 12.0 board business consent agenda, 12.1 approval of minutes of previous meetings. 12.1A, October 19, 2023 committee of the whole executive session. 12.1B, November 16, 2023 committee of the whole. 12.1C, November 21st, 2023 regular meeting. 12.2 treasurer's report. 12.2A, acceptance of treasurer's report for November 30th, 2023 as presented. 12.3, first reading, personnel policy and procedural manual. 12.4, first reading general use ordinance. 12.5, letter of intent, MCDOT partner wayfinding project. 12.5A, resolution number 23-99. Resolution authorizing the executive director to execute a letter of intent forming a partnership with McHenry County Division of Transportation and actually McHenry County for a wayfinding signage planning project for the Prairie Trail. 12.5B, resolution number 23-100, authorizing the submittal of a statewide planning and research program grant application for a wayfinding signage planning project for the Prairie Trail for an amount not to exceed $300,000. 12.6, resolution number 23-101, to authorize the execution of a concurrence letter as requested by MCDOT regarding the determination of de minimis impact for section 4F, resource and support of a non-conversion determination as approved by the IDNR pertaining to the Exner Marsh Conservation Area. 12.7, resolution number 23-102, authorizing reappointment of Kevin Ivers, Jim Hassler, and the appointment of Wendy Lauren and Jack Caskell as directors of the McHenry County Conservation Foundation for 3-year terms starting January 2024 and ending January 2027. 12.8, resolution 23-103, authorizing the executive director to execute a grant agreement with the IDNR Illinois Bicycle Grant Program for trail renovations and improvements on the Prairie Trail in rural McHenry County, Illinois. 12.9, acknowledgement of purchase of District Vehicle 6 through the Illinois State Bid Purchasing Program, bid number 21-416 CMS-P-29479 and 7 through the McHenry County bid process per resolution 23-62A. 12.10, resolution 23-104, authorizing travel expenses for 9 individuals to the 2024 IAPD/IPRA conference as included within the fiscal year 2024 budget for a total cost not to exceed $5,500. 12.11, resolution number 23-105, accepting the final report feasibility study at Lyons Prairie and Marsh Conservation Area determine options for addressing riparian erosion issue dated November 29th, 2023, is prepared by Hay and Associates. RFP number 0222 period 08 period 01. Resolution, or excuse me, 12.12. Resolution number 23-106, authorizing the executive director to execute a IGA granting a license for facility use with Illinois Reserves Commission for office space at the Lost Valley Visitor Center with an expiration date of September 30th, 2026. Number 12.13, ordinance 23-1032, providing for a permanent transfer of $473,819 for the general fund to a dedicated accounts capital fund. Number 12.14, resolution number 23-107, authorizing payment of $11,969,000 due on February 1st, 2024 to the Bank of New York Mellon for the general obligation refunding bond series 2014.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Well, I think we already voted on the agenda. We just,
And your roll
Motion
call.
a second.
roll call to approve, yes.
Trustee Zimmerman,
Yes.
Secretary Fritz,
Yes.
Trustee Wazorek,
Yes.
Vice President Everard,
Yes.
Treasurer Gaten,
Yes.
and President Down.
Yes. Great, thank you. So you understand that the Hay and Associates report and stuff, we approved all that, it's just. So, good, thank you. All right, Treasurer Gaten.
We'll move on to 13.1A, internal audit. Trustee Zimmerman, did you have?
No, but I was gonna ask if it's okay with the board. I apologize, I did not pull any items, but it's okay. I would do that by end of business day tomorrow. And then it's just to Elizabeth, and we could expect, turn around after the holiday or something after there.
Yep, that's fine.
Sounds good.
We want to get those guys.
Moving on then to 13.1B, I make a motion for the consideration to approve the payment of bills as indicated on the submission of bills pending report for the month ending November 30th, 2023.
Okay, so we need a motion. Do we have a motion? Who is this first?
Second.
I made the
I'll
motion.
get you.
Right, that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Vice President Everard. Trustee Wazorek,
Yes.
Secretary Fritz,
Yes.
Trustee Zimmerman,
Yes.
Treasurer Gaten,
Yes.
President Down.
Yes. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to 14.0. Elizabeth?
The only thing I want to, well, two things. one, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and enjoy the time with family. And again, very appreciative and looking forward to a bright and prosperous and peaceful 2024. The other item is I just want to thank Enhanced Networks. They stepped in this year as our IT consultant to replace the service provider that we had, and they've done a great job in transition. And they also treated staff in our various facilities this past week, meeting the ethics code and everything else like that, but providing some holiday food for the team, which was very nice to supplement the party. So I just want to say thank you to Brian Merritt and Enhanced Network Solutions for their gracious donation.
Good. I think we've already done our committee assignments and reports. I just had one question. I don't know, is Chief Stewart on?
He is not.
He is not? Okay. I saw that he was throwing tomahawks and I was just curious how that all went. And also, looking at the stone benches at Prairie View, you guys saw that in the wiki. Wow. They're very nice looking, so I haven't been out there yet. Okay, move on to public comments, number 2. Anybody out there? No?
It's not.
Okay. Well, I guess I did break the record. And we didn't even really try.
We even had a presentation.
Exactly. We got it wrapped up in 15 minutes, you know? No, we did our homework from the last meeting. That's how I did that, so. Alrighty, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, ready? Second, Ron? Okay, moved and seconded.
Trustee Zimmerman,
Yes.
Vice President Everard,
Yes.
Trustee Wazorek,
Yes.
Secretary Fritz,
Yeah.
Treasurer Gaten,
Yes.
and President Dom.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.